The KBDI Designers International Tour 2015 started in Cologne, Germany, where we visited the duo fairs of IMM and Living Kitchens. IMM is the first interiors show of the year, presenting the trends that will be shaping the furniture and interiors sector. 146,000 visitors from 138 countries came to the Cologne exhibition grounds this year. In parallel with the IMM, the international kitchen event Living Kitchen took place, a relatively recent addition to the international fair calendar. This year's event followed on from Living Kitchen 2011 and 2013. It proved to be a powerful attraction. During the show, the KBDI group visited the Pythor stand to view the latest in Pythor's innovative software product lineup. Design Week in Cologne is also a major highlight, affording the opportunity for designers to visit showrooms away from the show, including Bochfe and Nuon. After 3 days of enjoying the whole design experience of Cologne, the tour group moved on to Paris by train to attend Maison et Objet, a very different fair with a focus on interior decoration and design for the home. It was probably the best laid out centre a KBDI tour has ever seen. It provided a great deal of inspiration, being surrounded with creativity overload. At the end of the tour, Alex Milne caught up with Darren James, winner of the 2014 KBDI Certified Designer of the Year, sponsored by Lincoln Century, and Darren Jenner, winner of the 2014 KBDI Australian Bathroom Designer of the Year, sponsored by Pythor Partners. The boys started by chatting about their impressions of Living Kitchens.
I think the most exciting thing we saw really was not necessarily the emergence, but the reassurance of handmade. And just everybody wanting to know origin and where things came from and things being made for people. Sustainability, you know, honesty, integrity in what was being produced, and just making sure that people were really aware of it was being made for you.
Yeah, and that just added that value, knowing there was always a story behind that handmade.
Correct.
You know, a lot of people were just thriving on that quality. You know,
yeah.
It might cost that little bit more, but it's boutique, it's individual, it's yours, it's real.
It was made for you.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I would say that would be the strongest.
I'd probably even go to say that's the innovation.
That's the innovation. That was the big trend that I saw.
Whether they're doing it tough and they want to reaffirm what they're doing, and we even saw that here in Maison, you know, with all of the boutique designers, really pushing the handmade, guys making things on stands. You know.
Which is very different from the mass production we've known Europe for with kitchens for 25, 30 years.
Yeah, look, I think in the mainstream that's what we're looking at. We're looking at things that are they've still got their mass-produced elements, but you look at certain elements that are still made for them, you know, which I think was really, really nice to see.
Mainstream guys are going down the lines of raw.
Yeah.
You know, it's real. You know, they're really pushing hard. Where it's coming from, the origin of everything.
Yeah, so if we look back at the materials and we look in the sense that it was natural, very natural.
Yeah. So do you think that is also reflecting some of the move towards a more green approach?
Well, I think there was definitely a green literal sense about the whole event. You know, not necessarily green as in the sense of environmental, because that's certainly an underbelly of what's going on, but every stand we went on to was filled with greenery. It was, you know, and that's been
in general.
In general,
yeah.
You know, we were seeing natural materials. We're seeing timber, oaks and walnuts, really as a main. Metals, coppers, raw metals, stainless steels, but nothing polished.
Nothing polished, and it was really stripped back.
Correct.
You know, to its raw state, even if treated to put another finish to it.
Exposed weldings, things like that. We saw the use of marble. You know, mainly light-coloured marbles. We saw the odd dark colour, but mainly it was light colours.
But then it was softened off with the greenery. The greenery just grounded the whole modern space.
Yeah.
It's quite refreshing.
Moving on to Maison and Objet in Paris, very different show. Overall impressions?
Well, very different show. Maison, home, objet, object. So, you know.
Sounds better in French.
Yeah, home objects doesn't really sound as flattering, does it? So, yeah, look, it's all about house and all about objects. So it's very gift fair related. So lots of objects, and I still think there's a lot to take out of that. You see a lot of micro detail and
styling, how they're placing things in the showcases. If you were able to do that, or if you were styling one of your own jobs, they really know how to put items together.
Even their marketing paraphernalia and everything that they've got, you know, it's all supportive of that, and it gives you inspiration on other levels. You know, it's not a kitchen or a bathroom. We saw a few, but you're getting ideas of design in other senses.
Yeah, they're not necessarily trying to show off just their product. They're putting on a completely different show to bring it across to you. It's just a different way of thinking. It's quite smart.
Yeah.
But again, there was definitely a lot of gifts, and then you just had to, you know, pound through it because they're very, very large halls.
But there was still big.
And still some fantastic.
Still big things like Missoni was there. We got to see Miss Missoni. We got to meet Nendo or Akisato, the founder of Nendo, the design studio. He won Designer of the Year.
Amazing.
So we got to meet him, and you know, so things like that are really good. So I'm glad we came.
Overall value in coming to shows like this, travelling to Europe.
You couldn't put a value on it.
You can't put a value on it. You know, you're doing the hard grind at home all the time, and sometimes you get yourself just bogged down, and you come to these shows to get inspired.
And that inspiration comes from many levels. It comes from the level of being around like-minded people.
Yes.
Gaining experience with like-minded people, having experiences with like-minded people.
Listening to the stories.
Yeah, telling stories, sitting up late, drinking too much, and just having a really good time.
Yeah.
And seeing things. I think that's really the value that we can take away from
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Great trip.
Anybody, I'd say yes, you have to. These things are fantastic.
Identifying key trends is one of the main reasons as designers we love to attend international and national fairs and expos. In their wrap-up, Darren Jenner and Darren James said that this year's show in Cologne brought us back to nature and origin. The need to be connected to natural elements and finishes was very refreshing, as was the push for bespoke pieces and handmade qualities. Alyssa Greer said that timber was the hero of the show this year at IMM Living Kitchen, and we're finally seeing a lot more solid timber as opposed to veneers. Both Darrens agreed, adding that timber types of blonde oak and walnut mixing with marble, Carreras and Calcutta, accented with metallics, copper and steel were very strong. The designers observed that all materials were showcased in their most natural form, raw in some cases, adding real depth and character. This natural theme even expressed with a lot of greenery, herb gardens built into kitchens or green walls. It was also noted that texture continues to grow in strength, but with more of an edgy rawness. Stone-polished surfaces are now honed or flamed as opposed to polished. Timber surfaces are waxed or oiled as opposed to high-gloss lacquer we've seen in the past. The overall view was that colours are muted and soft. Neutrals are back in full force. Grey is still in, but it's a lot warmer, creating an amazing palette of muted grey taupes. The browns are getting cooler, with once cool greys much warmer. White continues to look crisp and is still popular with the introduction of white appliances. Most colours are soft, blushed and muted. Petrol, peacock blue, was the popular colour seen throughout the show. Darren G and Darren J commented that bench tops are getting thinner, 12mm and 6mm, and more refined. Advancements in materials are making a lot of things possible. We have even seen these thin materials applied vertically, which was a nice touch. Alyssa wrapped up her observations saying that we are seeing a combination of very modern and contemporary design elements with a slight vintage flavour. a resurgence of a kitchen that is timeless, functional and reflects true home culture. Of course, a KBDI tour is also a lot of fun. Here's a taste. The KBDI Designers International Tour for 2016 is now well into the planning stage and will include Jura Kachina and the Design District of Milan. Don't leave it too late to book once all the details are announced. Numbers are limited.
These things are fantastic.
Final comments?
Can't wait for next year. Get your entries in.
Bigger and better. Bigger and better.
Absolutely.